This is Mary Collins from Lifehacks Media and Change Hypnotherapy. And today I have the wonderful, beautiful Layli, as she's known, but also as her real name.
Lieke.
Lieke. Okay, so a little bit more information about her. Since a very young age, Lieke has been mesmerized by the water and mermaids. And you could find her at any moment as a child, deep below the ocean waves, practicing her mermaid techniques. Well, 10 plus years later, she is a certified mermaid instructor and also teaches at the SSI Free Dive. She does tri-mermaid, mermaid, ocean mermaid, underwater model, underwater dance, and so much more. Lieke, or I might call you from now on, your mermaid name, Layli, has been teaching mermaiding since 2018, and she has taught over 1,000 people. So with that, I'd love to talk to you today about an upcoming retreat in the south of France. First of all, just tell us a little bit more about how you really got into the whole mermaiding thing. How'd you discover it?
As you already mentioned, I've always been fascinated by the water and by mermaiding. I also studied dramatic arts in high school, college, like it's a little bit a different system here in Belgium. And at one point, I realized people were swimming as mermaids. I saw a video and I was like, oh my God, I want this too. Like, let's just do it. At that point, costumes for adults, you couldn't buy them. Now you can just buy them after rec. Then it wasn't possible. I can also sew very well. I used to be a sewing teacher. So at one point I was, after doubting a lot, like, will I do it? It costs so much money. Oh, how shall I make the costume? I was like, stop making excuses and just try it. And then I made my first tail out of a sequin fabric. And I very much did not like it. So I think if I use it 5 times, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. Then I started working on my own silicone mermaid tail. And that's also for most people, the most known tail. And I worked on it for like a half year, and then it was finished. And it was a very, very proud moment, and was actually really the start of everything where I'm heading now.
Right. And speaking of which, there are different kinds of tails. And I think that's what scares a lot of people, because when we think of silicone, we think really heavy, right? I imagine that you have to be a much more experienced swimmer to handle the weight of a silicone tail.
I think the reason why it's better to start later with the silicone tail is mostly safety issues, because it's a little bit harder indeed to swim with. It's also a little bit harder to get off if you're in a difficult situation. But luckily in the water, it's weightless. So that's a good thing. Like, it's very heavy to carry to the place you need to be. But once it's there, once you're in the water, it's okay. But anyway, like your first tail, I really believe it should be one of the Lycra, the swimmer fabric mermaid tails, because your first tail, it will go through a lot. Because you're just learning, so you will have scratches, you will have holes, so it'll also be very sad if you invest in a silicone mermaid tail or even a more fancy fabric tail, and after using it 2 times, you already have a hole in it. Not because you're not careful, but because you're still learning it, and while learning, it's just easier to damage something.
Right. And speaking of which, on the retreat that you and I have planned, there will be the Lycra tails that you're talking about. And I was quite surprised, because you said they're literally less than 1 kilo, including the monofin, or about 1 kilo.
Yeah, they're about 1 kilo. Like, it weighs as much almost as a bathing suit, so it also doesn't weigh much. And then you insert the monofin, so you need the 2 together. So you have like the fabric tail, and then you have the monofin, which is like one big fin you put your 2 feet together in. And if you put them together, it's not heavy.
Right. And especially that we'll be practicing in the pool, because the villa, which we have, has a really long, gorgeous pool. It's in the Mediterranean in the south of France with beautiful, lush, private gardens. So there'll be tons of privacy. And so speaking of that, people always assume that mermaids are specifically girls or ladies. What's your opinion on that?
I think mermaids are for everyone. And I also know a lot of men who identify as mermaids and see it more as like, by the media, it's like very female, but I know a lot of men who see it as a neutral term. So that's really good. So, and I can say when I started mermaiding, I only knew women, but the group of men who shown interest has been growing very rapidly the last few years. So please don't let that hold you back. If you want to experience it, just join us and you'll find out.
Well, exactly. I mean, it's also quite a powerful physical experience, because you have to kind of re-feel yourself, understand the muscles in your body and how they work, and how especially they work in the water. So besides being flexible, you have to be strong mentally and physically, which is perfect for both men and women, really. So, and you have the free dive course as well, the certification. So explain a bit more about what that is.
And the freediving certification, the one that I can teach, the basic freediver, we're more focused on the breath hold and trying to stay longer underwater. That's the main focus there. And in the freediving course, we also swim with bifins, so 2 separate fins and not a monofin.
Okay. And that's something that during our villa experience, our retreat, a person will be certified in SSI, which is an official certification. What does that do? What can people use with that certification?
So you'll get certified in the SSI Mermaid program, so not the freedive program. But of course, mermaiding and freediving are very much linked to each other. So what that entails is you will learn the proper skills, how to swim with a monofin. You'll learn how to take care of your materials. You will also get advice to see like which materials are the best suited for you, because there are different options, and it's always like a little bit hard to find the right materials if you do it on your own. And we'll also learn the techniques to be able to dive until 5 meters depth. No worries if you don't get there. It's more about learning the skills. And if you need more time, you need more time. And what's also really nice about certification is if you want to train later, most diving centers, so pools that are deeper than 3-4 meters. It also depends on your country, what the laws are. You need a certification to enter it. So you will also gain access to those things. And if you want to expand your skills, you can also do a follow-up course, like for example, the model mermaid, the underwater dance. So it's like only the starting point of a very exciting new world that you're getting to know.
Absolutely. I'm quite looking forward to it. And I know that normally the ages are a little bit from 17 onwards. I know you said you could do 12-year-olds there as well, but in our retreat, we're going to really focus on adults. And when I say adults, that actually means some of us older ladies as well, who may just be hitting our kind of middle ages, who want to experience something that they could have only dreamt about as a child because the opportunities were not there. And a wonderful experience to bond with perhaps a teenager in the family, both men and women, to bond with their teenagers. Because once again, you're talking about breathing, focus, listening skills that are required. And that's something I do as a hypnotherapist. I teach people to feel comfortable within themselves and to listen to the subconscious, because actually 95% of everything we do is run by our subconscious. So instead of us listening to the outside world, it's more about being intuitive. And that's why during the retreat, I will be providing an intuitive healing book. It's really mostly a journal with a couple of breathing exercises. But what's extra special is that Becky Hemsley, an amazing UK poet, has written beautiful, beautiful poetry, like her very famous poem, Breathe, which is all about motivation and listening to your inner self. So with that, there's some other stuff that we're expecting for the retreat. Of course, it is pretty much all inclusive. People will get to experience your tales. You'll provide the mermaid outfits to go with it. And I'm super excited because we'll do our online theory session in advance, as well as you'll be giving some tips about makeup. I need some tips about makeup.
Yes. So yeah, indeed, if you want to have nice pictures or videos as a mermaid, a little bit of makeup will always help. It can also enhance the fantasy character that you might develop for yourself. So we'll learn all about underwater makeup and how we can make it last longer, and also some tips and tricks, because a lot of regular makeup with a few extra products, you can just use them. You don't need to buy a lot of new things. So we'll talk about that in the online session about makeup.
So on top of the wonderful, amazing makeup tips, tricks, and hacks for underwater photography, which is great because we will have an underwater photographer for our mermaids and mermen who will we'll also have a boat ride. I don't want to get too excited, but it might be a pirate ship. And the water in the area is the Mediterranean Sea, so it's warm, it's beautiful. We're going to be doing our photo shoot in a bay area, so there will be no waves. It will be calm and just gorgeous with all the natural fish and everything around us, nature's best of everything. But tell me a little bit more about what else you will be providing in advance. I'll be providing some hypnotherapy sessions, some private sessions to our guests because we have a limited space. We only have in total 6 bedrooms available. We only have a couple that are shareable, and the rest are private. So ladies and gentlemen, sign up soon. There is some early bird specials if you sign up before the end of February, there will be a discount. And you can see more on our website, which is changeretreat.com. But do tell me, Layli, your mermaid name, what else will they be getting besides the theory online and the makeup tips?
So there are 2 sessions before online. They will also be recorded so that you can watch them again if you want afterwards. And there will also be a digital theory book with all of the information about mermaiding so that you can already read through it. There are also a few breathing exercises in there. There's also information about equalization because we don't want our ears to hurt. So it can help you prepare. So it can help you prepare to have a better start once we're at the retreat.
Excellent. Well, I really look forward to seeing you and bonding with these wonderful, beautiful mer people or mer people in the making. There's going to be therapies. We will have a singing bowl expert come over and do a singing bowl session with us. We'll have beautiful Mediterranean food in the beautiful Mediterranean sunshine. We are near the sea, so it's within walking distance, and it's very accessible from quite a number of airports, including Perpignan, Carcassonne, Béziers, even Girona in Spain. We are just right there down the very south tip of France, and it is just a magnificent, beautiful place to visit and to mermaid. So with that, thank you so much again. And we look forward to seeing you at changeretreat.com, our intuitive healing retreat with mermaid certification. Thank you.
Thank you.